So, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And I'm freaking pumped to be here. The best thing is that I can shout around because I'm quite alone at home, which is always quite great because to be honest, it do feels a little bit strange if I'm just, especially, no, not really. I just wanted to say that it is somehow bad because I'm talking in another language, but I think that's actually good because nobody's quite understanding what I'm actually saying to some degree. But in this episode, so it's quite great for me because I can practically or theoretically shout around like I want to, even though I do just have neighbors, which might not be the best idea. Anyway. We are going ahead with the interview with the Millionaire. It's taking quite a lot of time, but I do have to say that this is quite a short one. So I'm quite forcing myself to only make 30-minute videos. I do not know. First of all, it's quite great to upload them because they're not too big. And second of all, I do think that is quite a good thing. So half an hour is definitely something that's a lot of time, yeah. But in case of the podcast, it's something like, okay, it's so much value or so much volume also that you can actually put a lot of thoughts and a lot of information into this kind of time span. In terms of YouTube, it should be a little bit, less than 30 minutes, but I don't know. I'll see what my future audience will tell me that I should do, and this is then what I would be doing. But yeah, so this is actually only a little bit of a short going here because actually I've seen in the last time, as I recall it right now, that this article isn't too long anymore. So there's only like the future as a point, what you can see right now, and then there's nothing. So therefore I don't know. Maybe I'll just go through another one if I do have the time, or I'll just be a little bit more cautious about the time and about the speed that I'm talking at, not like so fucking fast that I'm talking right now. But yeah, I think we'll just go ahead and see what I'll be doing. And yeah, sorry. So the future. What are your plans for the future regarding lifestyle? I'm not likely to retire. I'm currently working on creating the lifestyle I want. I'm continuing to staff up so that my daily responsibilities are less. My girlfriend will retire in 5 years and I want to spend time away with her. We may travel or spend more time in the mountains. What are your retirement plans? I really enjoy things as they are. I want to stay healthy and stay sharp, and I will re-evaluate retirement along the way. I do think this is quite something that's pretty important, at least for me, to really stay sharp and stay healthy all the time. I'm quite a little bit feared, to be honest, that I will be not as smart in the future when I'm not quite continuously just challenging myself in a smart way. So if I do not have to solve anything, in terms of design, I do not know if you're just thinking about this the same way I am. But in design, it's quite the same thing. You do just only have to solve problems. And I do also think that just being creative quite often or just all the time quite also helps you to stay sharp, I would say, because it's somehow challenging at least for me. I'm quite also only able to just talk about what I feel like. But yeah. And definitely health. Health is something for me that's really important, and I quite do not understand why so much people do give just a fuck about what their health is like. So many people do just eat shit, and this is something that I can understand because there are so many good things, chocolate and all this unhealthy fucking shit. These things are so good, they taste so good, and I do understand why people eat it. The thing is, then people just dwelling around and complaining about that they aren't healthy, that they aren't feeling good, that they are tired. It's just another chapter, which is but quite related to the first one. If we are just eating like shit all the time, it's quite it quite makes sense that you're not feeling that good. But yeah, so I would say just please eat healthy. At least eat healthy. I would say you should rather eat healthier than actually starting to do sports. Because people actually say, I don't know if this is actually scientifically proven, but I do quite believe in it as well, which is that it is 80% eating or 80% healthy eating and 20% working out, which then both these things create your body. And I do believe in it because you can work out for 3 hours every single day, but if you're not eating enough, you won't just build up muscle. You might just lose a lot of fat and so on and so on, but you will definitely not build up a lot of muscle if you're not eating enough, because how should your body be able to do this? If your body doesn't have the right resources or any resources, how should it be able to? It quite isn't possible, just physically non-possible. So I do pretty much understand him and understand his points of views and whatsoever. And just thinking about, because I'm just moving around my microphone, if I should be a little bit more away from the PC or a little bit nearer, but I do think like it is right now, it's quite great. Because actually, in a few episodes from the past months, I actually was quite sitting in front or quite in my fucking PC, which then made my head look like, or made my head as big as the whole screen, which is, I think, not that nice to watch, to be honest, because I don't know, it might be a little bit distracting. I hope that my activities will stay the same. We should be able to cycle and ski and hike. It is more about going long than going big. Now though, I don't want to get injured. I broke my leg and tore an ACL on that same leg 18 months later. That was tough and got my attention. And I do think this is the problem, because most of the people in this, it's definitely the same thing with me if I'm not just reminding myself. A lot of people do just see the good things in life and what they should be grateful for when they do not have it. I do think this is quite normal, and I just understand it, why it is like it is. But just be a little bit more grateful for what you have, that you actually have legs, because there are people who can't use their legs, and you have them probably or hopefully, that you can see, that you are not blind, and that you can hear if you're just, watching this or listening to me. Just be grateful for the really maybe simple and easy things that you're having in life, just that you are you maybe as well, and just that you have the things you have, and that you're not, it could always be worse. There are people that have quite nothing, and what should they say? I think they're just complaining about it as well, but well, they can't do as much as you can do. So just be a little bit more grateful for what you have. I do think it is quite, as I said, always the thing that when people do not have this certain thing, they do quite miss it out. And it is normal, I would say, but yeah, just be a little bit more grateful. Miscellaneous. How did you learn about finances, and what age did you click? And what age did it click? Was it from family, books, forced to learn as wealth grew, etc.? My father was always horrible with money. Although he made an adequate income, he would spend it all. He couldn't manage money. I've always been fearful of not having enough, so when I got my first job, I guarded my money. Which is basically, to be honest, the same thing with me, I'm not talking about my family, but, there are always people in anybody's family that are, not that quite good with money and actually just maybe saving money. Even though I do have to say, okay, if you just can't save money, you at least should be able to make a lot of money. But I've always been feared to not having money. I don't know. I do think, and I think this is actually proven, that people actually find it worse when they do not have something, or when they have, or losing something than gaining something is a pleasure. So actually losing something just hurts more than gaining something feels good. If I'm just recalling it correctly, I hope so. But I've always been like this, I've never quite spent my money, like in a big way. I have definitely just bought myself quite things, definitely. If it was games when I was, a few years younger, or the bed that is actually here. You can actually see it there. Ah, there, there. Which is quite a new bed. It is actually the bed for my girlfriend, and yeah, I bought it just to tell a quick story, because it's definitely a little bit nicer to sleep in a bigger bed, not like in a 90 by 180 bed, when your girlfriend is over or when someone is over whatsoever. Therefore, I just thought like, okay, I'll spend the money, but I do have to say I was quite I was quite tough with it. Speaking that I actually just really tried to spend as less money as I could. The mattress that I'm using is quite the cheapest that I found somehow, and it took time. I'm not really like, okay, I want to buy this because I do not want to spend the time. I think I'm really going to just look for the thing that I'm actually just willing and just that I'm feeling good about to buy, and actually buy this thing then as well. But yeah, I've not invested, but I've bought myself a few things in my life, but I've always been quite feared about not having any money. Who inspired you to excel in life, and who are your heroes? I've had a lot of help along the way, too many mentors to mention. Thomas J. Stanley and his series of books were huge for me. Sadly, I never met him, but I was recently quoted in the new book. My heroes walk into our offices every day. I see single moms just killing it and raising kids, or elderly clients who talk about the Jim Crow South and growing up here then. I'm so inspired by my friends who have actually had challenges that are almost unimaginable. I was raised very simply without much extra, but I have never experienced certain injustices. These are my heroes. I do think this is just a great saying, and you can feel, okay, this person is quite. I do quite feel like he is just not about actually being so wealthy and whatsoever. It's just not. I can somehow I do not know, do not know quite how I should say it, but it quite feels for me like he is actually more passionate about being happy and doing what he likes than actually having a lot of money. And I hope that you also can feel it somehow, also by the other episodes that I've made on him. But I do remember that I actually have the ability to change up it a little bit so that it might be a little bit more interesting. But yeah, so I do think it's quite interesting that his heroes are actually the quite normal people. And I can imagine that a lot of people would have said, okay, it's Bill Gates, or okay, it's Steve Jobs, which is totally okay. I do not want to judge people on their opinions, which doesn't make any sense. It's just their opinion. If they just feel like this certain person has contributed their life so badly that it is actually his or her hero, why not? I can understand it. And I do think that often it is like, okay, people judge other people because they, first of all, quite don't understand them, or they can just, put themselves into their shoes, which is, at my point of view, a great way to just being able to just be a little more empathetic with all the people around you, because you can definitely then see, okay, these are just normal people and they just have their opinions and their feelings and their thoughts, and this is just what they're acting on, and you're just doing the same thing. And I think you're not wishing, or you're also wishing not to be judged by, what you're thinking about. Do you give to charity? Why or why not? And if you do, what percent of time and money do you give? Yes, I need to do better with time. 20% between us. She loves the animal shelter. I love the clinic next to my office that provides healthcare for the working poor. We also like being a part of our neighborhood indie theater. So it seems to be 10%, which is actually quite, to be honest, a common number. I've once heard actually, I do not know when and from whom it was, but he said that you should actually always spend, I think it was the exact same German motivational speaker, or also entrepreneur, I would say, that also said that you should actually do what you want to do immediately, because your chances are really, really fucking bad if you're not doing it right now. Like I think 90% that you're actually not doing it or will not do it. But he actually also said that you should really spend 10% of all your money for charity and or for giving away to people and all these things. Because if you just give money, you will get money. And this is something that has stayed in my mind quite. Which is, in my point of view, the same thing with love. Quite often, just if you're giving a lot of love, the chances are really, really high that you're getting a lot of love. And it might be as well with money. It's a little bit more difficult, and I think there are just some other factors, but it somehow would be great, wouldn't it? Do you plan to leave an inheritance for your heirs? I hope it's heirs. It's HEIRS. And how do you plan to distribute your wealth at your death? What are your reasons behind this plan? I'm hopefully that there will be plenty. We don't intend to spend much differently in retirement than we do now. Adding real estate will hopefully increase passive income in addition to our IRA savings. That should allow me to leave a financial legacy. There will be some for the charities. I plan to leave the real estate to my son. If the tax laws stay the same, the real estate will transfer nicely without excessive tax consequences. Additionally, I will leave a fairly substantial life insurance plan to my son. That money is not taxable. Which is great because it might, and I just imagine it being quite a lot, and so therefore I think, I think it's quite great to just have something that's not taxable. My girlfriend will leave her remaining money to her daughter as well, and it's likely she will pass some along to charity. I think it's fairly interesting that actually he is only just giving it away to his son, and she's only giving it away to her daughter, which I can totally understand, because it's, your blood, quite. And I do quite understand it. I think it's just funny, and I do quite, to be honest, imagine that they have been talking about excessively how they should do it and if it is okay and whatsoever. But I think it's great. I don't know how you're thinking about it. Sorry. But I would imagine it's just really great. If you do have the ability to just leave something behind, leave a great legacy behind for your children. Even though I do have to say that I don't know, I quite wouldn't like to get money from my parents if they just die or whatsoever, because I feel like I just want to achieve it myself. I do think this is just what I want and it's just what I need as well, and I quite feel like it. I quite feel like, okay, I just want to achieve it myself. I just want to work for it myself because I nowadays quite believe in the process. I've often just the past few years, and this is just something that I'm quite grateful for, that I actually do have just quite a bigger understanding for my life and what I actually want in myself, which is fairly important. So that I actually can say, okay, the process of actually just getting there is quite something nice. And this is also something that I've been trying to really focus myself on when I'm just doing the podcast, or when I'm just doing what I've always been done, like the posts and whatsoever. I do think that's quite important, because if you do not like the process, like you're doing just all the time something that you're actually not passionate about, or you actually do really hate, how would you be able to just get through it this whole time to actually be able to somehow get to your goal? And the worst part would then be that your goal isn't as good as you imagine it to be. And I do just think that having a process that you like is very important, because it takes a lot of time. All these great things take a great lot of time, and this is actually something that I quite understood today, because actually today I'm gonna work out outside, which is fairly something that I like and love, because it fucks me away more than than when I'm working out at home, actually, because at my place there are some pull-up bars and whatsoever, which is fairly great, and you can work out a little bit more efficient. So what I want to say, what did I want to say actually? So building the physique that I'm having, which is quite great, I would say. I don't want to underestimate or underdo what I've quite achieved. I do quite think that I'm in a great shape, and health-wise also quite great. But it took a lot of time. It really took a lot of time, and this is something that I realized today. And it took me now, I think, 3 to 4 years, and I've always been sporty. I've always been doing sports, and so this is just something that's somehow natural to me. I do like to move. I do like to exercise. I do like, to just do this. And it's nevertheless took me 3 years, 3 to 4 years, actually, maybe even more. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. So it's not that less. It's quite a bit, to be honest. It's not like nothing. But actually, I'm going to see if there's So the interview 124th actually is the newest one that we have been going through today. Maybe I will just go ahead with I think 120. Yeah, I do feel like. Yeah, I do feel like it. I think we'll just going through this for the next 8 minutes. The overview. How old are you and spouse if applicable, plus how long have you been married? I'm 57 and divorced for 12 years. Do you have kids or family? If so, how old are they? He does not have any kids, but I take care of my 85-year-old parents and a 20-year-old niece. What area of the country do you live in, and urban or rural, suburban in the southeast? What is your current net worth? 3.5 and about 0.5 in business cash assets. So a little bit less wealthy than the last person we've gone through, but the problem that I'm having is I do not quite have, sorry for actually not showing you, maybe I do not quite have the necessary kind of the necessary how should I say, the necessary ability to quite understand how much it is, because it always feels like very, very less. Do not get me wrong, having 1 million or 3 million, 4 million is definitely a bit, but it's not that much, isn't it? There are people who have just 100 fucking billion, like Bezos, but theoretically. But I think in the end he doesn't have the money itself or himself, but it's rather the company that's worth so much, or he has just shares from the company that are worth this much. So it kind of feels for me like it's not that much, especially when I'm just thinking about Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, who is making 80 fucking million a fucking year, which is fairly a lot, but I do just understand. I think I can understand why. I'm just thinking about if it's just quote unquote okay, that he's actually getting so much money for the things that he is doing. But I do think he at least has a high responsibility for what he's doing. But so what is your current net? So I've read that. What are the main assets that make up your net worth? Stocks, real estate, business, home, retirement accounts, etc. And any debt that offsets part of these. A liquid bank cash, CDs, mutual funds, 980k, investments, index funds, robo-advisor, annuities, 800k. So 980k, then 800k, retirement, 550k, real estate, 3 rental properties, 2 personal homes, 900k, and the family loans, so private mortgage, 270k. Earn. What is your job? I own a business. Well, this is quite quite abstract. What is your annual income? This fluctuates because of the business. Last year my salary was 60k after I've maxed out my 401k. The business has been down the past 3 years. My average wage has been between 150 and 200k a year, and additional business incomes which varies. In several years I've had over 300k. So actually making 60k a year isn't that much, but I think it's, let me see. By the way, it would be very nice if somebody out there could tell me if it is actually in the States, also like at my place, that you're actually getting 14 and not 12 monthly just salaries or wages or whatever, because we somehow get for Christmas an additional wage or something, and for something else I do not remember. So I'm 60 divided by 12 would be 5k, which is definitely enough, and 14 would be 4.2k, which is, I think this is just enough. The thing, I'm just thinking, what would I do with so much money if I'm just living alone, and I'm earning 5k a month? And you do have to think about it, like what's with 300k? 25 fucking k a month is fairly a lot, or 20k. This is just a lot. I didn't knew what I just would do with it. I think I would just, this is the same thing with actually me having $1 million right now. I think I would just do the same thing that I'm doing right now, sitting here and waiting until I've made it myself. And this is maybe also one of the reasons why I wouldn't like to win the lottery, because I just wanna work. I just wanna work on it, and I just wanna get to it myself, and not like through luck or through my parents or through other family members. I do quite not want to have this. I don't know. But yeah, tell us about your income performance over time. What was the starting salary of your first job, and how did it grow from there? And what you did to make it grow, and where are you right now? I'm a first generation immigrant from a third world Asian country, so his home. I arrived in the US in 1989, was married to an American who I met in my home country. My first job as a teacher earned me about $25 per month. $25? It just says 25 per month. Is it actually 25? Nevertheless, I became a computer professional and gradually increased my earnings to middle class wages. I had about $10k US dollars of my own savings when I was married. My first job in the US, I earned minimum wage. In about 6 months, I was able to increase this to about 25k per year, working with computers. My last official technology-related job was 1993. I left my career and jumped into my ex-husband's dream of owning a business because I wanted to support him. My salary started with $300 per year. Is it actually $300 per year? I don't know quite believe in it. I think it, it's quite nothing. It's really nothing. But I'll just go on. In 1999, I earned 39k. I was not an owner of the business and was treated as an employee. I say this because I was not made aware of the company's finances. In 1998, the company filed for reorganization, and in order to succeed and be approved, I had to be appointed as the new owner. Therefore, by 1999, I became an owner of a business that had over 600k to repay. What the fuck? From 2004 onwards, I slowly started to earn and save. In 2007, after 9 years of paying down company debts, I was able to increase my capped salary. My income fluctuated yearly. Most of my net worth came from business earnings for the past 10 to 11 years, which is fairly tough. What tips do you have for others who want to grow their career-related income? I do not have a lot of experience in this area to share any tips. I haven't worked for anybody else since 1994. I know, however, that having a business is what has helped me gain the financial independence in the past 10 years. And the last one is, what is your work-life balance looking like? The business trips were good perks to being in business. When I turned 50, I promised myself to visit new interesting places for my every birthday, and I have been doing this yearly. This year I started going to the gym regularly, primarily for health reasons, which is fairly great. But I do just really believe that you do not have to go to a gym. Just working out wherever you can is just enough. But yeah, so I do really feel like, okay, this was quite a great episode, and I hope you're feeling like this as well, even though there's something going on with my voice, and it feels like a little bit of pressure on me that I'm actually just somehow able to speak. I don't know why. Maybe I just have to take a little bit more breaths. To be honest. No, but it was fun for me. I hope it was fun for you. I hope you've learned something. I think it's just interesting to gain a lot of stories of other people and see how other people have done it and how you could also do it as well. And maybe you get inspired through the things that I'm going through. I don't know. But yeah, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success, as always. And yeah, I hope you're thinking about your legacy and giving back to the people. And with that being said, I hope you also go through the next episode that I think I'll go through, or I will record, right after this one. I'll see you the next time.